All right, so this is our oils for less stress class. So we can be using our oils for many, many, many different reasons. But especially this time of the year, we really need to be, I mean, really, who doesn't experience stress all throughout the year? But I feel like everything right now is just very much compounded. So this feels like a really appropriate time to touch on the ways we can use our essential oils for such a thing. So I put together a little presentation for you all. So I'm going to go ahead and just screen share here right now. And here we go. Okay, so basically this is just our way of looking at essential oils and really kind of breaking it down and making it easy, because they can. Once you have those few foundational pieces of information and ways and the know-how and the safety stuff, you can really easily use your oils in your everyday routine to support yourself in so many ways. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Mary Zari, and I live in Sussex, New Brunswick. I'm a yoga instructor. I'm an essential oil educator. I do energy healing work, and I'm a mother of 3 children, happily married, and we live, we have a very tight-knit family. We homeschool our kids. My husband works from home. I work from home / teach classes outside the home. So yeah, we really love being able to have these oils in our lives to, number one, support our well-being in so many ways, from absolutely stress, right? Getting the atmosphere in the house in a good space every day for everyone, but also for all the things that come up when you have kids, right? Like upset stomachs and sleep issues and, all the things, colds and coughs and all that kind of stuff. So we love our oils. We use our oils every day, several times a day, and we're so thankful to have them in our lives. Okay, so moving forward, we are really, the goal or the intention of our class today is for me to share, well, to number one, empower you, and then to share with you 3 cool things about essential oils, 3 ways to use our oils, and then also how to get your oils in your home. So we're going to start with just kind of a general idea here of what's happening when we think about stress in our body, okay? And how can we apply oils for having less stress? So on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to you're welcome to chime in, you're welcome to message or shoot a little, whatever that's called, message in the chat. You can just think of it in your head. You don't even have to share. But on a scale of 1 to 10, so maybe 0 being not at all, 10 being this is a really big problem in my life, how often are you aware of being stressed in your daily life? How concerned are you about the quality and quantity of your sleep? And then how frequently do your emotions feel difficult to manage appropriately? Okay, so if you had, any of those numbers were, 5 or above, show me your hand or give me a nod or something. Yeah, 2 hands. Awesome. Yeah, and so as I said, you're not alone. We are living in a really stressful time, and even if you in your own little life aren't feeling it, you're just like really feeling into the whole collective stress that's around us. So what's happening when we are stressed? Okay, so our hypothalamus is like a little tiny control tower, and it sends signals to the brain to send out stress hormones when there's a stressful situation happening or a perceived stress or something that you're needing to, be able to fight or flight away from. So, an actual physical threat or something like that. This is designed to protect you. Obviously, if you have, a lion chasing you in the jungle, you want that fight or flight mode to switch on. So you have this big boost of energy to be able to run like the Dickens and get out of Dodge, right? So the problem is we don't really have a lot of those types of, that's not a problem. We don't have lions chasing us anymore, but those actual, dangerous situations where we need that mechanism to turn on in our body, we don't really have much of those anymore, but we do perceive a lot of things to be very stressful in our lives. So this could be, just in general, the way of the world right now and what's happening with the pandemic, right? Just maybe it's work stuff, it's family stuff, it's, whatever it might be that makes you feel those heavy feelings, that feeling of being weighed down and just like too much, overwhelmed, all the stuff like that. So your body is perceiving that as stress, and then it's turning on that fight or flight mode in your body. So taking you away from your, rest and digest mode, which is what we want to be functioning on most of the time. So in our rest and digest mode, this is where our body can really, put its attention and energy into digesting our food, into our organs so they're functioning properly, into our healing mechanisms in the body. Really, our body is meant to heal, and when it's in the right condition, when it has the right environment, it can do just that. But when we are stuck in that fight or flight mode, all of that energy that's going toward those beautiful things like healing ourselves and rejuvenating the body are now gone into, a lot of the blood flow is in our limbs. Our heart is pumping faster. We're breathing more shallow and faster. Our blood sugar levels go up because that gives us a little boost of energy to be able to, again, run if we need to, get out of the situation. So a lot of different things are happening when we're in that fight or flight state. And when this is happening for a prolonged period of time, or even just frequently, this is when we really start to see the symptoms of chronic stress. So this can look like many different things, but a few are irritability, okay, not being able to really balance our mood properly, feeling anxious and depressed, having headaches, insomnia, poor immune function, increased blood pressure, as I mentioned, increased blood sugar levels. Really, the list goes on and on. So it's interesting to really, take a step back and look at different things that are happening to you. Like maybe you have digestive issues happening. Maybe you do have sleep issues happening. Maybe you're getting, headaches all the time. You're having a hard time pinpointing where it's all coming from. A lot of times it's because we're stuck in that stress mode in the body. Okay, so anyone have any questions so far? Feel free to chime in as I say. Okay, I'm going to keep going. So we're going to start touching on the 3 cool things about essential oils. And the first cool thing is that they are safe. So I'm going to go back and just really make sure that I'm clear about what I'm talking about here. I'm not talking about essential oils in general. I'm talking about doTerra's essential oils. doTerra is a different creature, unlike any other essential oil company on the market, because they've really set the standard for quality. Before doTerra came along 12 years ago, there really was no standard whatsoever. There's really very limited testing, if at all any. If you get a bottle of oil that says 100% natural, that bottle of oil probably, all they need to have in there is about 7% pure essential oil to be able to make that claim that it's 100% safe or natural. Okay, so we know with, if there's only 7% essential oil in that bottle, what else is in there? Probably it's fillers like synthetics, which are hormone disruptors, and all kinds of stuff. Maybe it's just a carrier oil that's in there that they're not claiming is in there, but still you're not going to be able to get the full medicinal benefits from these oils. Unlike doTerra, they are 100% safe and natural. They are 100% pure essential oil, right to every single drop. They're not adulterated in any way. There's nothing added to them. There's nothing taken away from them. They are pure, and they've really created, as I said, they kind of created the standard, and this is their certified pure therapeutic grade. This means that they are completely pure and completely, totally potent. So oftentimes 1 drop of an oil is all we need. They are extracts from plants. They have really amazing health benefits. And because they're so safe and natural, they don't have side effects, and they don't have addictions that come along with them, like so many of our, medicine we can receive from our doctors these days. So many times they're 50 to 70 times more powerful than herbs are even. Okay, so looking here, we have a little image of peppermint oil. Peppermint oil is an oil that is really wonderful when we're thinking about, in terms of stress. How does it relate to us using oil for stress relief? Well, peppermint is the oil of a buoyant heart. So thinking about the emotional side of it, it really helps to bring joy and like lightness and buoyancy of the heart, and helps us to remind us that life doesn't need to be heavy. Okay, sometimes all we need is that little bit of like optimistic view and that different shift in our viewing point or our perspective to help us through some heaviness and stress that's happening in our lives. As I mentioned, a lot of times we can have maybe headaches and things like that that come from having prolonged stress, maybe even digestive issues, right? So we can actually use peppermint also to help us with those specific ailments that pop up too. Using a drop of peppermint on your thumb and pressing it to the roof of your mouth for about 10 seconds, and then a few drops on your temples anytime you feel a headache. That's going to help to relieve that. It's also so good for tension in general. So you can rub it over your neck and shoulders and just help yourself to really release that tension that you're holding that's stemming from the stress. I find too, even just putting a drop of peppermint in your hand, taking some nice big deep breaths just like this, it just really helps you to come back to the present, which is a really big thing when it comes to managing our stress. We need to actually come to the moment, realize where we're at, realize where we're feeling, look for things that we can kind of reset and shift and change in that moment to help us feel more relaxed. Okay. I mentioned this is good for like digestion. You can also take it internally to help the digestive system, or even put it on topically for such a thing too. It's an awesome, awesome oil. I love my peppermint. I feel like I need to just have a sniff of it right now because it's so good. Okay, so carrying on, that's the first cool thing about our essential oils. They are safe. The second cool thing is that they are effective. So if we think about this, oftentimes they're more effective than modern approaches to health problems. So why is that? It's because if this were a cell in your body, that cell has an oily membrane around it, which is really acting like a protective barrier. And that barrier is there to keep all the good things in your cell and to keep all the bad things from getting into your cell. So this oily membrane is there, as I say, to protect when we have something like a bacteria trying to get into our bodies and wreak havoc. It attaches to the outside of the cell, and that's where it can start to cause some trouble. And viruses, so this little purple thing would be the bacteria, this little yellow thing in here would be a virus. Viruses penetrate through that oily membrane and get right into the cell, and that's where they start to duplicate. So interestingly, because this membrane is oily, right? It's an oily membrane. Our essential oils, because they are oil soluble, can penetrate through that. So they can work on the bacteria on the outside of the cell. They can also penetrate through into the cell and help to stop the duplication of viruses right there at the source. So this is really an amazing thing, because most of our modern medicine is water soluble. So yes, you might be able to get an antibiotic to try and deal with issues that arise when you have a bacterial infection. But if you have a viral infection, you're always told just to go home and rest and drink water and take it easy until it passes. Okay, so this oil here, this is called On Guard. So why are we talking about On Guard? Well, number one, when we are, feeling stressed, our immune system is weakened because of this. As we learned in the previous slide, we need something to really help to boost our immune system up, because otherwise we're just going to find that we're getting sick after sickness after sickness after sickness. So our On Guard is an oil that it has several different oils in it, from wild orange to cinnamon to clove to eucalyptus to rosemary, which are all really incredible oils for strengthening and supporting and revitalizing the immune system in many different ways. But when they're put together in this blend, there's just this like synergistic magic that happens, and it allows them to work together and be so much more powerful. So we can take this aromatically, using it in your space to cleanse the air. But anytime you have something diffusing, you're breathing that in, and it's also supporting your physical body as well. Okay, we can use this topically. So this is a way that I love to use this on the soles of my feet every night before bed. Same with my kids. They all have a little roller bottle beside their bed. So it's just a part of their bedtime routine. to put it on the soles of their feet, and it absorbs in and helps to strengthen their immune system that way. You can also take it internally in a little drop of water or in a little capsule form. And again, this is just a really very good preventative measure to help keep yourself really strong and healthy. Okay, so again, preventative is the key. We don't want to just wait till we have something and then be reactive to what we're experiencing. Although we can use the oils for that, absolutely. But the more we can be proactive with things, the better. Also, on guard is the oil of protection. So it just also kind of helps to give you a little more resiliency in life in general. If you're feeling kind of vulnerable, or you're easily susceptible to being manipulated or attacked, or anything like that, any of these like outside emotional threats from outside people in your life, this kind of gives you a little more strength to stand in your own and feel, be able to create really healthy boundaries, be able to feel more protective and independent and strong. Okay, so that's the second way we can, second cool thing is that our oils are more effective. So let's talk about the third cool thing. They're more affordable than traditional medical care. So how does this go into play? So I'm going to give you a little scenario here. Say, let's pretend my kids go to school, okay? So my kids are in school, and let's also pretend I have a real day job where I'm super lucky with what I get to do, because being your own boss and doing what I do, I really do get to create my own schedule. However, let's pretend. Okay, so say I get a call from the school saying, Judah's not feeling well, you need to come and pick him up. Okay, so he has an earache. I need to go and tell my boss, I'm sorry, I have to take the rest of the day off. I have to go pick up my son from work and take him to the doctor. Actually, no, the doctor is not available. I have to go take him to the ER. So I pick him up, take him to the ER, and sit there for a long time, let's be honest. And then finally we get seen by the doctor. They give us maybe an antibiotic for that earache. And it's going to take about 3 to 10 days for that earache to finally clear up. And the poor guy's been in pain and misery, ever since. Okay, so instead of doing that in my house, which really, if you think about it, even if I have coverage for my medical prescriptions, say at my job I had medical coverage and I got maybe I only had to pay 20% for that prescription. Okay. On top of that 20% that I've paid, I've also had to take a half a day off of work. I've had to spend money on gas to get him and then go to the hospital and then go to the pharmacy and then back home again. He's been kind of suffering because it's taken a while for this to kick in. And then also now he's not feeling great because he's kind of got some gut issues going on because of the antibiotics, because they really destroy our gut flora. Now his stomach feels gross. And maybe his mental state isn't as great as it once was either, because our gut and our brain are so intimately connected. So I'm also probably going to buy him some probiotics to try and reestablish a healthy gut flora for him. So that all adds up to quite a lot of extra money. On the other hand, in my reality, when my kids have an earache, I take 2 drops of lavender and 2 drops of tea tree oil, and I take that and I rub it around the ear. And that earache is going to be gone by the time they wake up in the morning, most times than not. If I need to, I'll do it again, but I haven't ever had to do it twice. And that cost me less than $1. I didn't need to take time off of work or anything like that. Okay, so we can really think of that extending not only to this earache situation, but to our mental wellness, our own personal well-being, in terms of not needing to take a day off of work for a stress or a mental health day or a stress day, because we have a foundation of things that we use, of tools like our oils to really support us and help us through these challenging times. Lavender, for instance, is an oil that's really very, very calming for the mind, also for the nervous system. So as we talked about kind of those 2 branches of the nervous system. There's we have the fight or flight mode, and then the rest and digest mode. So lavender really helps us to get back into that rest and digest mode because it calms the nervous system down. So we can take this under the tongue to really support that grounding, calming effect. Using it aromatically, we all know how lovely lavender is to help us sleep and just calm our emotions. So using it aromatically is wonderful for that. It has an array of other uses also, aside from just those calming effects. It's great for your skin. It's a natural antihistamine. So any type of like rash or hives or bee stings or anything like that, it's going to be really helpful. And yeah, it's an incredible oil across the board. It's kind of like if you don't know what to use lavender oil, your Swiss Army knife of oils. So there's 3 ways for us to use our essential oils. Okay, so the first way is aromatically. So we talked about this briefly with some of the oils already, but when we use our oils aromatically, this is one of the best ways to shift our mood really quickly. It's actually the fastest way for us to shift our mood. And why is this? It's because we have this olfactory nerve here in just above the bridge of the nose. And when we're smelling something, that olfactory nerve sends signals to the limbic brain. And the limbic brain is connected to our emotions and to our memories. And when we smell something that is very calming and, peace bringing and quieting, that limbic brain then sends signals through your whole body very promptly, very quickly, that, okay, you can start to calm down, start to relax, start to slow down, and get out of that fight or flight mode. So it is very fast. And you can think of this, I can give you an example to think of on your own. If you were somewhere and all of a sudden you smelled something like sugar and spice cookies, and all of a sudden you're like transported back, because it's connected to our memory, transported back to that time when you were a kid and your grandmother used to bake those cookies with you. And then you start to feel really happy and joyful and all the feelings you felt in that time because it was such a lovely experience. That's an example of how quickly a smell can shift our mood. It can go the opposite way too, smelling something that reminds you of something that's not as great or as positive in your life. But again, it can very quickly shift you. Okay, so when we use our oils to shift our mood aromatically, the diffuser is an awesome way because it's not only affecting you, it's affecting everybody in the household who's, in that space. So this is, again, a way that I love to use my oils is in my diffuser in my home because we homeschool. It's a great way to really set the tone and the mood in the house for everyone. It's a great way to cleanse your air too. So this is a nice way to, thinking about the On Guard, how to use On Guard because of its antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal properties. You can use it to really clean and purify the air that's in your house. And you can also use them to support the respiratory system this way too. So whether that's right in a diffuser, I mentioned putting a little drop of peppermint in your hand and taking some nice deep breaths. That really is your own little personal diffuser. And it really is helpful when you're breathing them in to open up the airways, the nasal passageway, the sinuses, the lungs, all the things in that respect. Sometimes too, we like to use like diffuser jewelry and things like that. So there's lots of ways. My hair is one of my diffusers that I use all the time. I just rub my oils through there and it works like a charm. So that's aromatic use, which is incredible. We have another way, which is topical use. So when we use our oils topically, this would be one of the best ways to really stimulate self-repair in the body. Okay, so we can use our oils topically a few different ways. If it's, really thinking about in a stress kind of relationship, if we have that, feeling of tension in our head and just feeling really heavy and feeling overwhelmed and really scattered and irritable, right? We can use our oils topically, maybe on the temples, on the back of the neck, using them in that way around the head, maybe on the shoulders and neck, where you're really feeling a lot of that tension. This would be a great place to use your oils. If you're feeling more the stress in your heart, you're just feeling really uncertain and you're not sure what's going to happen next, and you don't know what you're meant, what path you're meant to be on right now, we can use our oils topically over our heart center, over our pulse points, in here and behind the ears. All these places are great ways to use the oils for those times when we're just feeling really unsettled in the heart. And then another way, again, as I mentioned, our gut and our stomach our gut is another connector to all of this. Like really, we have 3 brains in our body. We have our brain, our heart, and our gut. Okay, so oftentimes when we are feeling stressed, we're feeling it in our gut. We just have these like knots or butterflies or poor digestion, all the things like that. So we can use our oils topically to help settle out those issues as well. Whether it's right there localized on the area where you're feeling it, right in your belly button even is a great place to use them. And then also maybe you're just having some discomfort. Maybe you have a sore elbow, and you can put on some deep blue oil or deep blue rub on that elbow to help soothe it. Okay, so there's lots of ways we can use it topically. I love putting oils on the soles of the feet. And I mentioned this earlier, and this is because on the soles of our feet, we have the largest pores in our body. And when we put the oils in this place, on that fleshy part on the sole, your body within about 5 minutes has taken that oil into the bloodstream. And then in about 20 minutes, it's reached every single cell in your whole body. So it has such powerful calming effects. So especially when we're thinking about, and we'll touch on a few of these oils here in a second, but using something like Balance or COPAIBA or lavender, like things that are really calming and grounding, putting those in the soles of your feet is a wonderful place and way to really absorb those and get some benefit from them. So we don't always need to put a carrier oil on with our oils. However, I suggest it because of a couple reasons. So number one, most oils that doTerra has, you can put on neat without having to put something on them. But if something's spicy, like On Guard, for instance, because it has cinnamon and cloves or even like oregano, or there's a few kind of like hot oils, you definitely want to put them on with a carrier oil because they can make your skin more sensitive. Okay, so if you put something on, or even by mistake, maybe you're getting some oregano out and you got some on your skin and you didn't realize and it started to burn, our instinct is always to run to the sink and try and wash that off. Okay, even if you got it in your eyes, same thing. You'd be like, oh my gosh, my eyes, I need to go flush them out. That's actually not the best thing for us to do, because water and oil don't mix. They don't like each other. So it's actually almost going to make that oil kind of penetrate deeper into the skin and deeper into the eyes and make it burn even more. So what we want to do is dilute it with a carrier oil, such as fractionated coconut oil or just regular coconut oil, almond oil, whatever you can get your hands on, and put that over where you're feeling the sensitivity, and just keep on adding more if you need to until it's diluted out and you're not feeling that burning sensation anymore. I love using carrier oil with all the oils that I use for the most part, unless I'm just putting a drop in my hand and using it aromatically. I like using the carrier oil because it helps your body to absorb it more. So our oils are quite volatile in that they will evaporate pretty quickly. So when we put oil on by itself, essential oil, it's going to absorb about 4% into the body. When we put it on with our carrier oil, we're absorbing more like 10%. And when you put it on with carrier oil and then you cover up that area, whether it's, like maybe my shoulder was sore, I put it on with carrier oil and then I covered it up, I'm going to absorb more like 75% of that essential oil. So it kind of is like more bang for your buck to use the carrier oil. You can always like cover it up with a hot compress or something like that too, which is just extra soothing. Okay, so the last way we can use our oils is for internal usage. Again, I'm just going to say again here, I'm talking about doTerra. I'm not talking about any other companies or any other oils. So please don't reach for your lemon oil that you got from Winners and put this in water and drink it. It is not the same creature at all. Okay, so internal use, this is really helping to balance chemical reactions in the body. So this is a great way to help support your cells in regenerating. It helps to really ease inflammation in the body, helps to support that immune system when we take them internally, but also just the chemical reactions. Really, our feelings are basically like chemical reactions within us. Okay, so this is also going to help us to, depending on what you're using, help us to balance out those and help to stabilize our mood a little bit more. So we can take a little shot of water and put a drop in and take it like that, if it's something that you just want to get into quickly. If it's something that you really enjoy the flavor of, maybe you want to take something under your tongue or in a larger glass of water. So things that would be calming internally would be, your lavender or COPAIBA. And again, we'll touch on these a little bit more soon, but you can use those again to really support yourself in calming the nervous system down, but there are also other benefits to taking other oils internally too. Under the tongue is a great place. If you don't like the taste of something, in a veggie cap is another great way to take it too. Okay, any other questions here before we go on, you guys? All right, so why doTerra? Well, doTerra has set, they recognized that there was a need for that higher standard of purity in the essential oil industry, okay? So as I said before, oftentimes when they are 100% pure, they're often synthetic, they're diluted, they're not well tested, they're sourced in ways that really negatively affect people. But doTerra really values quality, purity, sustainability, and fair trade practices. So they've created this certified pure tested grade, and this is your really like a deep knowing and like trust that they are confirmed to be pure and safe by multiple levels of testing. I think doTerra alone has like 8 different tests that they run, and then that's just like on top of third-party testing that they have. There's no harmful synthetics or contaminants in these oils. And one of the coolest things that they do is they use co-impact sourcing model. So what does that mean? What's co-impact sourcing? This is when plants are grown around the world in their ideal climate for the maximum therapeutic benefit. Okay, you can think of this like if you try to grow tropical flowers here in Canada, they are not going to do well. If you can even get them to grow at all, they're not going to thrive. They're not going to be their most beautiful flower possible. So they have, access. They're a big company. They could very easily buy a bunch of land and just plant fields of all the things that they need and harvest them and be able to turn those into essential oils. But they realize this isn't the best way to do it. Finding these areas where these things grow naturally, where people have maybe generationally been growing them already. Sometimes they're wildcrafted. Farms that, as I say, have been passed down through the generations. Finding these people all around the world to really work with and build relationships with and have them growing and harvesting these oils, that's where the magic happens. So also in doing this, it's, if they had bought land and planted farms and done all the things, they'd have a few employees that would be managing these. But in this model, this is like a worldwide reach. A lot of these countries are third world countries, or I think it's about 2/3 of them are developing countries. So they're able to provide jobs for these people. They're able to provide education around how to maybe do it a little bit better, right? As in, there's certain ways that we need to be harvesting, for instance, frankincense. It's a resin that grows on the outside of the tree, and you need to be really careful when you're cutting off that resin to not cut it too deep, not do it too often, not cut too close to the roots. There's a very, there's a science behind how you're harvesting, and if you don't do it quite right, you're not going to have maybe more resin to harvest the next year. And so that's not a sustainable practice for, their children moving forward into the future. They also work really closely with these people to see what do you need in your community. They're really about lifting them up. And so if they need, they spend 2 hours a day going to get water, they put wells in their community so they have fresh drinking water. If they're needing, schooling or hospitals or, some type of medical clinic or whatever it might be, they really work with the people, ask them what they need, not just decide, oh, you need this, and that's not actually what the community would need to thrive, right? So it's doTerra is incredible. They have this beautiful oil that is so pure and so good for the customers, but it comes from a really heart-centered place, a place where they're helping so many people behind the scenes. So really they're helping globally on such a huge scale, not to mention their charitable efforts that they have, which are like off the charts too. So if you want to know more about that, I encourage you to go check out source2u.com, and you can learn about some of their sourcing stories. Okay, so we're just going to touch on a few of these oils. I'm not going to go through all 10 of these uses, but I'm going to go just for a couple of them, and really, again, focusing on releasing stress. So Digesten, I put this one in here because, as we talked about, oftentimes we have a lot of digestive stuff that comes from stress. So Zengest is one of the best oils because of its peppermint and tarragon and anise, and all the oils that are in here are so supportive of the digestive system. So it really helps to give you that little bit of comfort through those times when you are feeling a little bit upset in your stomach area. So this is also like heartburn, indigestion, your food didn't sit right, you're feeling bloated, you're feeling constipated. All of these things can actually be stemming from stress. So this is going to help to relieve a lot of those issues. So this one can be used topically, internally. You can also use it aromatically for like nausea and things like that as well. We love Zengest. Use it every day, even if you don't have digestive stuff. Who doesn't need more support in digesting their foods, right? I know I drink this every day. So lemon oil. Lemon oil is, again, one that is great in water. This does help to kind of support your body in cleansing. We can kind of think about cleansing in two different ways, right? So there's cleansing our physical body of toxins and things like that. There's also this like emotional cleansing or mental cleansing. So for me, it kind of, anytime I smell my lemon oil and I'm drinking it and I think of this cleansing aspect, it kind of makes me lean into a little bit of like, okay, what do I need to cleanse from my life? What's not serving me anymore? How can I let go of some stuff that maybe at one time served me, but isn't now where I am? Because when our days are really full with things that aren't serving us, we don't have any time or energy left for things that are serving us and making us feel good and making us feel full and making us feel joyful. And so thinking about that, what weeds can I pull out of my garden to make the other things grow and flourish? This one is a really cheerful oil. All the citrus oils are really joy bringing. They really uplift your mood and just kind of bring a smile to your face. So this is a great one to use in your diffuser just to kind of like perk up the spirits a little bit and make you feel a little happier. Especially through the winter time, I find when we have less sunshine, lemon is like sunshine in a bottle. So our frankincense. Frankincense is the king of the oils. It's incredible for it really brings a sense of peace and well-being and calm. And it's wonderful in like things as like prayer or meditation or a yoga practice. So all things that would be really supportive of helping you to manage your stress, right? We need to think about this really in like a whole lifestyle, a broader wellness lifestyle, not just, focusing on one thing to try and help us. It's like, how can I pull a few things together that really do it for me, that help me to come back to the now, that help me to let go of my stress, that help me to shift my perspective, and then use essential oils with those practices too. So in prayer meditation, as I say, it's a beautiful one. It just brings this feeling of groundedness and calming. It's also really great to just apply to your pulse points to help support and balance out your mood. It's one that is great for easing head tension, especially if you have really bad headaches or maybe they go toward migraines even. If you put, like I mentioned, the peppermint, you could put a drop of the frankincense on your thumb, press it to the roof of your mouth for about 10 seconds, and then do that with the peppermint after. Again, press it to the roof of the mouth for about 10 seconds, and that's going to give you even more relief from the headaches. Okay, so I've included deep blue in here also, and I know, Joelle, you've been using deep blue on your body. So I included this in too because it can also be, sometimes whatever's happening in our head is then also presenting itself in our bodies. Okay, so helping to soothe these areas and helping them to heal can also kind of help you to get maybe back to the root cause of where that was coming from, whether it's an emotional thing or something from, your past or whatever it might be. It also is, deep blue emotionally really helps us to kind of get deep into where our pain is coming from. It helps us to really kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like dig a little deeper and get more to that root cause of what pain we have in our bodies. So this is one that's great used topically for those sore muscles, achy joints, things like that. It's also really great for, like, as I said, pain, right? Tension, things like that. So using it on any neck and shoulder tension would be incredible to help you kind of Relax the shoulders away from the ears, come back to the present moment, help you to kind of like get through the rest of your day with a little bit of a shift in your mindset and feeling a little less heavy. So 10 ways to use Easy Air. Easy Air is the respiratory blend with doTerra. And so I find oftentimes when people are really struggling with anxiety, they're feeling, that's how their body's reacting to stress, is to feel really anxious. Their breath really gets very shallow. Maybe it turns even into panic attacks and things like that. So using the oil of breath really helps to bring you back to your breath. It opens up your airways, it opens up your lungs, helps you to come back to the moment. So putting a drop in your hand, rubbing them together, taking some deep breaths, really just giving yourself a moment to pause. Taking deep breaths even in itself is a really calming practice for the nervous system. So these two things combined, the breath, nice and deep and slow, and this oil are very soothing and calming for those anxious moments. We can also use this when we're going through things, because it's the oil of breath. It's very much connected to the lungs, and the lungs are very much connected to grief that we hold in our body. So it can really help us through different, challenging times in our lives. If we are experiencing loss, or even, it might not be loss of a person in our lives. It could be a loss of, the person that we once were. We're not able to do the things we could do at one time in our lives, and we feel like we're mourning that person that we were before. Maybe mourning a job that we lost, or whatever it might be. There's lots of ways that we can grieve for different reasons. So this is a really great one to help support you through those times. Adaptive. So adaptive is a beautiful blend. They call it the oil of adaptability. It has a lovely combination of orange, lavender, copaiba. It has some spearmint and rosemary, and maybe some sweet gum. I think there's magnolia in it too. This one is your kind of like mental wellness oil, and it helps to guide you through those day-to-day stressors that arise. Okay, so it helps you to have a little more patience, a little more, I guess I like using this more proactively. So I use this one all through the day, like first thing in the morning, putting a drop in my hand, just taking some deep breaths, setting the intention around how I want to feel that day. I am peaceful, I am calm, I am focused, I am love, I am whatever that might be for you. And then kind of using that as my anchor point, right? When I take that quiet moment and set my intentions, then throughout the day, if I feel like I need a little extra something, I can just reapply my adaptive, take some deep breaths, remember that intention, come back into that place, come back into that feeling, and it starts to become your anchor smell. Okay, so remembering, we talked about, taking our oils aromatically, or using them aromatically. And that idea of, smelling something that reminds you of your grandmother and making you feel good, you can create those pathways in your brain with your oils on your own, according to whatever it is you're looking for. So every morning, maybe you decide to do a little meditation that's going to help you to find more joy in your life. And you choose to use an oil, let's just call it adaptive. You use adaptive every morning for 2 weeks. You do this little guided meditation, and you smell that oil, and you come to that happy place. And then eventually you're going to get to the point where you don't need to sit and do that meditation anymore. You're going to be able to pull out your adaptive oil, smell it, and it's going to bring you back to that feeling. You've created those pathways in your brain between that scent and that emotion and that way of being. So such a cool way to use our oils, and adaptive is awesome. I love to put this in the diffuser sometimes, just on my body. I use this one all through the day. And then even like in a bath in the evening, something like that is a really great way to use it also. But as you can see, there's 101 ways you can use your adaptive in a massage, in your lotion, lots of different ways. So balance. Balance is doTerra's grounding oil. It's made from tree oils and root oils, and it's kind of like walking through the forest. So just imagine what that feels like when you go out into the woods and it's quiet and it's peaceful, and it just feels so, makes you just pause and stop. I find that's what this oil really, really evokes. You can put this on the soles of your feet for that added grounding effect. And as I say, within 20 minutes, that oil is going to all the cells in your body and supporting that calming energy throughout you. So this one is also lovely in the diffuser. I love to use it sometimes with a bit of, a combo of other oils or on its own. In a bath is also awesome. My daughter has she's like my husband, and her brain likes to go and go and go and go. So I've created a little blend with this and a few other oils that I put on her big toes, which is your brain. If you look at the reflex points on your feet, your big toe is your brain. So I put that on her brain to help quiet her brain down at bedtime and get some adaptive into her diffuser. And then she has a great night's sleep and can go to sleep a lot faster. Okay, so COPAIBA. I've mentioned COPAIBA a couple times, and really because kind of like when you think of, we talked about lavender, like, I don't know what to use. Maybe I'll just use lavender. Same kind of thing with COPAIBA. I'm not sure what to use here. I think I'll just use COPAIBA. Okay, so it's an awesome oil, as I mentioned, so calming for the nervous system. And this is one of the best ways to really ground your energy if you're feeling overly anxious or nervous or whatever it is that you're feeling overwhelmed with. Putting a drop right under your tongue. There's a gland under your tongue that quickly draws that into your bloodstream. So you're going to really benefit from the effects of that COPAIBA really quickly when you take it in that way. And honestly, I've seen my friend go from like, on a scale of 1 to 10, from an 11 to a 1 within 10 minutes, able to, like, not feeling like she was nauseous, not sure if she could present what she needed to present, like having a really terrible morning, to 10 minutes later using her COPAIBA, just sitting and taking some deep breaths, to kicking butt and doing an incredible presentation. And you would never have known that she was nervous at all. It was incredible to see. It was really, really cool. So this is a great way to put it on into the body, also onto your body. I love to put it on my forearms with some lavender at bedtime. It's really great for bedtime because it is so calming. But aside from that calming effect, it's also great for the cardiovascular system and our respiratory system and our digestive system. And also it's kind of comparable to CBD oil. So it's also really wonderful for helping to relieve pain in the body. So, Joelle, using COPAIBA in connection with the deep blue oil too would be a really great combination of oils to help support pain in the body. Okay, so I just wanted to pop this on here. You're welcome to jot these down if you'd like to, but just a few calming diffuser blends that might be nice to try out. So there's a few extra oils in here in these blends that aren't we didn't go through already, but just to name a couple, there's bergamot. This is really uplifting and calming, helps to balance out your mood. Cedarwood, very, very grounding and calming also. This is a lovely one for bedtime and just overall calming. Vetiver, grounding, emotion balancing. So that blend I was mentioning with my daughter, she has balance, vetiver, cedarwood, and COPAIBA in that little roller bottle that she has. And then there's wild orange. Wild orange is like, much like the lemon, just like happy sunshine in a bottle, makes you smile. You can't hold a negative thought when you're smelling wild orange. Relieve stress, help to boost the mood. We have Arbor Vitae. This is an oil that's really calming and peaceful. It also kind of helps you to let go of control a little bit. If you're one who tends to try and hold on really tightly to things in your life and control everything that's happening, which in itself creates a lot of stress and resistance, that oil can help you to kind of let go and let be. doTerra has a few other blends that they have too. One is called Peace. It's the reassuring blend. It's very calming and soothing. They have Serenity also, which I love using at bedtime. It's so calming, but also great for like anxiety and stress and things like that too. Okay, so I know for myself, this has been a really big piece of the puzzle in feeling really awesome every day and being able to manage a lot of different things, from my day-to-day stress levels to my having better sleep and feeling more energetic through the day, to feeling less foggy and more focused. And really, like, all of these things are so intimately connected, right? So I find if we're not eating the best, and even if we think or feel like we are eating really well, the food that's grown in the soils across the world doesn't really have the same nutritional value as it once did. The soils are depleted. We're not getting all the same vitamins and minerals and trace minerals that we, should be in our bodies. So oftentimes there's a big disconnect and a lack in our nutritional wellness. So this took me a long time to actually try, because I was just kind of stubborn about it. And I didn't think I really needed any type of supplementation, because again, I thought, I eat well, we eat well, I'm fine. But now that I've been taking these since last February, March, I think I started consistently, I've noticed a huge shift in, as I mentioned, sleep, energy, just overall stress management, focus, clarity. And I know that these have a huge role to play in it. I see it in my customers all the time. When they start taking them and 2 weeks later, they're just like, oh my gosh, I feel fantastic. I can't get over this. So we have to kind of fill in, like if we think about our nutritional wellness as our foundation, we need to fill in those gaps first. That's a really big part of it. And then we can use, using our oils on top of that is just going to help us even more, right? So this is like your multivitamin, your minerals. It has your antioxidant and cellular energy and longevity, kind of like your insurance plan. And then it has your omegas too. And, a lot of times when we're lacking in specific things like B vitamins, then we're feeling pretty down and depressed. And we're not sure why, but it might just be a need for B vitamins in your body, or it might be a need for more omegas in your body, or the right combination and ratio of omegas in your body, right? A lot of times it's all stemming back to that nutritional foundation. And just before I keep going here, this is their #1 product. It's 30-day money back guaranteed. That's how much they stand by this product. That's how awesome it is. So if you try this and you really don't notice any difference, they're happy to give you your money back. No questions asked. So just for a second here, again, you can put this into the chat or write it on paper, or feel free to speak up, but I'd like you to think about, or at least write down on some paper, your top 3 health concerns. Okay, maybe this is stress, maybe it is sleep, maybe it is digestion, maybe it is pain, maybe whatever it is, write it down. And then you're going to think, what would my daily life be without these concerns? Shamin says all of the above, right? Yes. Yeah. Stress, mood, anxiety. Yeah. So when we think about, as we've been learning through this talk, I think a lot of times it's coming from that chronic stress that we are experiencing from day to day, that's compounding and then showing itself in these ways. Okay. So all of those oils that I touched on today, and including I would really like that LLV, that the supplementation, that is a huge piece of the puzzle too. Mood, stress, pain, some anxiety. Yep. Yeah, and I think we're all kind of in that same boat. And when we can just find that right combination of things that are going to help us, so finding that good nutritional foundation with our supplements, and then using our adaptive for our stress, using our COPAIBA under the tongue for our anxiety, using our wild orange to help boost our mood and pick us up and make us feel a little happier through the day, to using our frankincense and lavender at bedtime to help us get a better night's sleep, so tomorrow we feel even better, right? Shamim says, getting better, started the LLV a few days ago. So Shamim just got her supplements in the mail. So you just give it another week or two, Shamim, and I'd love to hear back from you about really how much things shift for you, because it does take a little time, right? Especially depending on how many gaps we have to fill in. It takes a little while for our body to fill them all up, right? So you can see with all these oils, they really are going to support you in different ways throughout your everyday. Okay, so going ahead here a little further, I wanted to touch on, a testimonial for myself. It really would be that LLV that Shamim's trying. It was like a really big shift for myself. I thought I always slept well, but really I could fall asleep easily. that's why I thought I slept well. But really, I would check the clock like several times through the night and then roll over and go back to sleep again. And now I literally lay my head down on the pillow and I go to sleep, and I wake up in the morning, unless my daughter has snuck into my bedroom or something. Sometimes I don't even notice that she sneaks into my bed. I wake up and I'm just like, how did you get here? When did you get here? So having that, you know, that good night's sleep affects me the next day, makes me feel more energized, makes me feel better, makes me feel less stressed, makes me feel, you know what I mean? Like, again, they're all so tied together. So I'd love to show you 3 ways that you can get some of these oils into your hands if you don't have them already. I find that I truly, honestly believe everybody needs doTerra in their life in one, you know, way, shape, or form or another. So the first way that you can buy oils is retail. And this is really the most expensive way. And nobody really buys retail unless it's in like a retail setting. Okay, so maybe your chiropractor sells Deep Blue and you buy a bottle from him, or your massage therapist sells, you know, something like that, a bottle of lavender or something, and you'd buy it at the full price. It's not really the most effective way to go about it because it's the most expensive. You can also buy oils wholesale. So this is like kind of like a healthy Costco card. You pay a membership, which is $42 for the year, and then you get to choose whatever you'd like. You can kind of like mix and match and pick your own oils, and you're getting those at wholesale prices, which is 25% less than retail. And then you also get perks of being a member, which there are several, and I'll touch on that in a minute. The third way, and really the smartest way to get your oils, is to get them below wholesale prices. So how do you do that? Well, it's by starting with one of the starter packages that's discounted and grouped together for specific needs. This comes with your 1-year membership free. It's included in that packet. Well, it's not even included in the package. It's free. They waive the membership fee. And it comes really with typically with a nice broad range of oils that are going to help to really touch on a lot of different issues, from, you know, digestive stuff to immune stuff to pain to stress to sleep. So it gives you a really good broad range of things to be able to really start to kind of overhaul your lifestyle, which is really what we want to be doing. We can't just focus on one specific issue because they're all so connected. Okay, so when you get started as a member, it comes with perks. Okay, so one perk is that you get a welcome package. So I love to put together a few little things to offer you to help you get started. And that's usually, I give you that when we have our one-on-one consultation. And this is a free, you know, consult that we have where we open up your oils and go through them and really create and kind of carve out a routine for you that best is going to suit you and your health concerns. So, okay, so for anxiety, you're going to use this one under your tongue, you know, 3 times a day. You're going to do this for your pain, and make sure you're doing this, you know, in the morning and before bed, and really kind of lay out this really nice routine so it makes it easy for you to step into it. And then it kind of takes away the guesswork. It gives you access to our VIP education group. This is our collective learning library, and it's has a ton of information in there that's all really nicely organized into units. So you can very easily go in and pick away at, oh, oils for pets, that sounds interesting. You can go into that unit and pick away at the information that's in it. Oh, oils for, DIY Christmas gift ideas, that sounds cool. And you can go into that unit and see all the different cool, easy, simple, lovely gifts that you could make to give to your friends and family this Christmas, right? You can pick away at stuff, learning, there's ebooks, there's all kinds of stuff in there that you have at your fingertips, including this community of people that are very much like-minded and are here to also support you. Aside from myself, who is helping you to get started, you have this community of people that's there to also support you. We have giveaways constantly in our group also, and then just this ongoing support that comes with being a member. It's definitely a perk. So I'm just going to show you a couple of kits. There are several. I'm not going to go through them all. And I'm happy to send you a link to look at them all, but I really wanted to show you these because there's some awesome deals this month. For just the month of December, there's some select kits that are 20% off. This is awesome because oftentimes I don't think I've ever seen the kits actually go on sale like this, and I've been with doTerra for quite some time. So this is a really, really special. And then on top of it, you get 20% off this month. And then on top of it, you also get a free frankincense if your order's over 200 points value. So you'll see here, this says on sale for $255.60. And then the points value is 172. So if you threw on another bottle of, let's say, I'm going to talk to you, Rachel. Rachel threw in a bottle of Clary Calm, which is really awesome for women and for helping them to balance their hormones, whatever stage they're at. So this is a really cool oil, whether you're like, a young lady just starting to go through puberty, or in your older age and you're kind of going perimenopause or going into menopause or beyond menopause. It's going to help you wherever you are in your life to help balance out your hormones in your own body according to you and your needs. So it's so cool. Anyway, if you were able to tag something onto this kit and make it 200 points, you're going to get a free bottle of frankincense. And frankincense is your I think retail, it's like $115. Like, this is a really sweet oil to get for free. On top of this discounted price. So you can see here, you get a beautiful diffuser. You get most of the oils we talked about today, actually: Adaptive, Lavender, Lemon, Balance, Peppermint, Breathe. Remember, that's Easy Air in Canada. Digestin, On Guard, Deep Blue, and Copaiba. We talked about all of these oils today and how they can support stress and other things in our lives. This is very comparable to the kit that I got started with, and I really highly recommend it. It has such great value. Another one that's just a little easier on the budget. This one is also 20% off. This has, again, a beautiful diffuser. Most of the oils we talked about today, aside from, I guess we didn't touch on tea tree oil, but I think everybody has, tried tea tree at one time or another. This this kit on sale is $164.20, and it's 93.2 PV. So you're pretty far off on getting the free frankincense with this one. And just to point out, these are 5 ml bottles. The other kit, the last one we looked at, these are all full-size 15 ml bottles. So you're getting 3 times the amount of oil in these bottles as you are in these ones. And then just one more I'm going to show you here. This is the Healthy Home Collection. Again, 20% off. This is the sale price here. It, again, would be over the 200 points, so you would get the free frankincense with it. And it also comes with a really great supply of things that you can really overhaul your whole lifestyle with. So we think about trying to remove toxins and things from our life. It really starts in the home. So, from our shampoo and conditioner to our toothpaste, to the cleaning products we use, to our hand soaps and sanitizers and all the things like that. So this gives you a really beautiful collection of things to, get rid of all the old stuff that's maybe not so good for you anymore, and supplement it or replace it with these beautiful products. And then again, you have all the oils we talked about today. So those are the only ones I'm going to touch on. As I say, I'm happy to send you a link to look at the rest of the ones that are on sale this month to get a better idea. I think I'm connected to most of you on Facebook or Instagram, so we will definitely be in touch. But just for one more moment before we leave, I love to really extend the offer to people to host a class. So it would be, when you start using oils and you start realizing how incredible they are, it's sometimes really hard to keep that under your hat, right? It's hard not to tell people and want to help people, especially if you're a heart-centered person. So I love extending the offer for someone to host a class. So that would be connecting with some of their friends and family they know would benefit from the oils. I always look after getting a sample to them and then teaching the class, whether it's, just something like this online or in person if we can. And then as a hostess, I love to offer this little keychain, and it comes with little bottles. And say you had, 8 people that you invited to that class and they came, I fill up those 8 bottles with different oils for you as a thank you. So it's awesome. I don't go anywhere without my keychain. It's kind of like my little mini medicine cabinet that I carry with me wherever I go. So I know I have something at my fingertips if the kids get an upset stomach or a headache, or, we feel we're away and we feel we're getting sick. So we've got our oregano and our On Guard, all the kind of stuff like that. So one last thing here, there's really 3 types of people in doTerra, okay? So there's the people who live the wellness lifestyle and love their oils. And this is a beautiful type of person who's just really interested in natural things, who wants to feel their best and uses the oils to help support them in that. So there's also a second type of person. This would be someone who's more of a sharer, someone who loves their oils so much and can't help but tell people about them. Maybe they want to host some classes, or you know, give their friends some oils when they're over and they've got a headache and they can't help but not give them some peppermint to try for their headache, right? So when, or if you decide to share oils, there's definitely perks that come along with it, in that you can start to get some of your own products paid for. And this is, you can kind of think of this as like getting your, or having your healthcare paid for, basically. And then there's the third type of person in doTerra who, like myself, realizes that I want to help as many people as I can. I really want to make a big impact in this world. And I also would love to earn an income being able to do that. So I choose to build doTerra as a business and teach people and share with as many people as I can to really spread the word and spread wellness to everyone, because I really, as I said, I believe everybody needs these products in their lives to support themselves and their children and their partners, and so on and so forth. Even, as I mentioned, their pets. Our pets sometimes need some extra help too. So that's really the joy of sharing oils. If you want to know more about sharing them or building a business with doTerra, I'd love for you to reach out to me. I'm absolutely happy to have a conversation with you and really just kind of let you know if it's what it looks like, what the general flow of it is, how much we can you know, potentially earn doing that. And again, it's just one of the types of people. If you get started with doTerra, that doesn't mean you have to sell oils. That's not it at all. It just becomes sometimes this natural thing that people really want to step into. So just remembering that. All right, you guys. So I'd love to open this up to any questions that we have. Anything you jotted down you're curious about? Looks like you're typing something, Joelle. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. You're even more excited to get your oils. Yeah, Rachel just, she just put her order through last night, so I'm really excited for you to get yours too. Wonderful. Okay, well, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time on this Saturday morning. And yeah, Joelle, I'll be dropping off your little sample for you here this morning in a little bit, and we can connect more. So thank you again so much. I really appreciate it, and I'd love to hear more from you if you have any more questions.